summertime in Los Angeles. I was preparing to leave town for vacation, thinking it would be nice to have some extra cash for my trip. When the phone rang, it was my friend Karen calling to see if I could cover her at her day job for 2 days. A family emergency had come up. Karen was the temporary assistant to the assistant to a certain Oscar-winning movie star. Owing to a confidentiality agreement I signed later, I shall refer to her today as certain Oscar-winning movie star. Karen had called the week before, sounding like she was in the trunk of someone's car.
You're not going to believe where I'm calling you from.
I said, I can barely hear you, Karen. What? She said, I am inside the home of certain Oscar-winning. By now, I cannot remember if I screamed, dropped the phone, wet my pants, or all of the above. But you'll understand, I was extremely excited. So on Wednesday, when Karen called back and asked if I could cover her Thursday and Friday, I thought, I'm leaving town Saturday. This is perfect. And then Karen said, and listen, Chris, I know you're a major fan, but this is a job, and you'll be working for a difficult person. And if you don't think you're up to it, you shouldn't do it. And I said, Karen, I think I could put the adoring fan aside and do a good job. So we agreed I hung up and I began to freak out. The next morning I drove to Coldwater Canyon and I parked across the street from what looked like a large, luxurious cottage. Arriving at the side door, I took a deep breath and I rang the doorbell. And after a moment, Tom answered. Clean-cut, boyish, with a buttoned-up air, Tom was Oscar-winning movie star's longtime assistant and my boss for the next 2 days. He showed me into the kitchen saying, she's out this morning on set in the valley, which is good. I can give you the lay of the land before she gets home. It was only 9 a.m. She had been up for hours making a real, honest-to-God motion picture. My heart burst with pride. I followed Tom to a small staircase at the back of the kitchen, up the narrow steps, to a small wood-paneled office over the garage. This is where you'll be working, Tom said. She's just acquired the rights to a play, Tom said. As soon as the movie wraps, she's leaving on tour, so there's a lot going on. That's why we need the extra assistant right now. He pointed to one of the catalogs on the desk. I've dog-eared the items she wants. I need you to locate these items and order them over the phone. I opened a J. Crew catalog to one of the dog ears. A cream-colored chemise had been so intensely circled with ballpoint ink that there were tears in the page. The rest of the page was colored with florid handwriting, and looking closer, I could make out sentences like, bad color, bad. Why can't I have what I want? Question mark, question mark. Tom said, now some of the things I'm asking you to look for may be hard to find. For example, this item has been discontinued, the chemise I've been looking at. You have to call J. Crew, find the back stock, and once you find them, order 20. Okay, I said. Tom said, everything you order will be in bulk. Got it. Tom sat at his desk, and just as I was about to pick up the phone to order my first item, he stopped. And, he said, don't answer the phone. Oh, I said, yeah, she's kind of weird about the phone, and since it's just 2 days, don't worry. I'll answer it. Okay. Thanks for calling J. Crew. This is Candace. How may I help you? Candace is cheerful. Hi, Candace. I'm calling from the office of certain Oscar-winning movie star. Complete silence. Candace? Then, with no trace of cheerfulness left whatsoever in her voice, Candace said, how may I help you? I guess I'm calling about an item, and Candace cut me off and said, is it the cream-colored chemise on catalog? I said, looking down at the catalog to to confirm the page number. Yes, it is. We no longer carry that item, Candace said. I understand, Candace. And, Candace said, we don't have some mysterious warehouse where we keep no longer advertising merchandise. Oh, I said, I have been around and around with you people. We don't have it. We probably won't have it ever again. The air on the phone was now thick. Anything else I can do for you? So I set the phone down and I turned to Tom. He was talking on the phone but watching me coolly, as if to say, see? You see what you've gotten yourself into? But with my plucky spirit, I moved on to my next item on my list. Rubber spatulas. Shorty's Hardware, may I help you? Hi, I'm calling from the office of certain Oscar-winning movie star. I told you people not to call. I'm sorry. He said, I thought we were through with all that. I'm sorry, I said, I knew. He then laughed, somewhat cruelly. All right, what do you want? I need to see if you have a certain item in stock, I said. Looking for more of those rubber spatulas. Yes. He said, how many? I said, 24. Okay, I'll see if we got it. Now, it went on like that for the next hour. I'd say I was from the office of certain Oscar-winning movie star. The person would either know what I wanted, be angry with me by association, or refuse to deal with me at all. Tom worked mostly on the phone. I was on about my 6th call when the phone rang. Tom looked at the phone, and looked at me and said, it's her. Okay, I said. Tom picked up. Hi there, he said. Yes, it's been a busy morning. No, Karen's not here today. Remember, she had a family emergency. Chris is here. And I thought, dear diary, she knows I live. Tom said, okay, see you soon, and hung up. And he looked at me. She's on her way. A ripple of terror went through. Tom changed too. His attitude became suddenly sharper. One thing, Tom said. She doesn't like to be spoken to. Eventually, she may warm to you, and you may respond if she speaks to you. But whatever you do, don't ask questions. I nodded my head. Tom said, okay, I have to run to her office. I'll be right back. There was a large window over next to Tom's chair, but I couldn't really see out it. So, like a novitiate awaiting the visiting cardinal, I just stared at the wall in front of me. After a few minutes of that, I decided I should probably get back to work. So I continued with my orders. I picked up the phone. That's weird, no dial tone. Instead, an angry woman's voice started screaming at me. Hello, who's there? Tom? Oh dear God, I recognize that voice anywhere from all of her movies. I had accidentally picked up her call. Hello, Tom! What do I do? Do I hang up on her? Do I speak? She barked, what's going on? Tom! I finally croaked. Yes, this is the office of certain Oscar. Who is this? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Get me Tom! I pushed the hold button, I dropped the handset into the cradle, and I sat for a moment in terror. I thought of that scene in Vertigo when Barbara Bel Geddes makes a really lame mistake and grabs the side of her head. And staring at the flashing red hold button, I realized I had to do something. I ran down the stairs and I bumped into Tom in the kitchen. He said, what's up? She's on the phone, I said. I told you not to answer the phone, Tom said, moving swiftly for the stairs. I trailed after him, blubbering. I didn't mean to. I picked up the phone to make a call. She was there, speaking. I didn't want to hang up on her. It was an accident! So Tom picked up the phone. Hi, he said. I watched him The rest of my entire life hung in the balance. Yes, that was Chris, I know. I told him, it won't happen again. Okay, see you soon. And as he hung up, I heard the sound of the electric garage door opening beneath our office. Tom looked at me and said, she's home. If there is a call, I want you to answer it. And considering the phone fiasco, I looked at him pleadingly. You'll be fine. He showed me how to pick up calls, and if they came in on her line, to forward them to her bedroom. Tom walked away. I was going to call around to locate mega packs of AAA batteries, but the instant Tom was out of sight, the phone rang. I picked it up. Hello, this is the office of certain Oscar-winning movie star, I said nervously. Hi, is she there? It's Sharon Stone, said Sharon Stone. I said, one moment, Ms. Stone, and Sharon Stone said, thank you. I pushed the button for certain Oscar-winning movie star's private line. She said, yes. I said, it's Sharon Stone. She said, put her through. Hi, Miss Stone. I'm putting you through. Thanks, Sharon Stone. Now, since this was my first time transferring the call, I stayed on to make sure the transfer went through. Hi, Sharon, she said. I'm so glad you're home, said Sharon Stone. I need to ask you some financial advice. Okay, shoot, she said. And Sharon Stone said something that I have tried to adopt as my personal prosperity affirmation ever since. Sharon Stone said, I don't know what to do. There is so much money coming in right now, it's like I'm a goddamn money magnet. And with that, I hung up. Chris! The scream came from the kitchen. I'm coming, I hollered, making my way down the narrow steps. Chris! And then she cried for me. I'm here, standing now in the kitchen. You're so slow! Her back was to me now. She was standing at the kitchen counter, facing a food processor, food scale, and a sea of small Tupperware containers. Tom stood off to the side. I'm sorry, I said. Tom shot me a look like I shouldn't have said anything. I saw that our famous employer was intently weighing, grinding, and scooping up some unrecognizable food. Go to the garage and get the cooler, Chris, she said. To Tom, who nudged his chin at me. Okay, I ran out the back door. And then I stopped, and I ran back in. Where's the garage? She said, out the door, turn right, then turn again. And please, Chris, hurry! I turned right, and then I turned again. The garage was filled with shelves and shelves of canned goods. Someone was prepared for the apocalypse. I ran back into the kitchen. I'm sorry, but where exactly is the cooler? And she said, on top of the shelf, Chris! Hurry! And I found the cooler and I ran back into the kitchen. Got it, I said. Put some ice in it, Chris. Hurry, please, you're so slow! And I put ice in the cooler and then I stood next to it, waiting for my next command. She continued weighing, grinding, and then scooping while Tom and I just stood there watching. And I now understood the need for so many rubber spatulas. Each little Tupperware container had its own rubber spatula. And after several minutes of this, there was a pause in the action, and in the silence, I blurted out, what is that you're making? Tom looked at me with such a look of terror, and he started shaking his head. I instantly remembered the rule, but too late, do not ask questions. The air in the kitchen became still and cold. Her back twitched. And then slowly, I swear to you, this back. Slowly, she looked over her shoulder. It was the only time she ever looked me in the eye. She said, "Why is pulverized chicken?" We turned into a precision machine. She sealed containers, handed them to Tom, who handed them to me. I put them in the cooler. And once the food was packed, she disappeared to her quarters, and I returned to the office. A little while later, I heard her leave for the set. Tom came upstairs and sat at his desk. The house felt calmer, but also sadder. Our reason for living had left. And like eunuchs, or ladies in waiting, Tom and I put our heads down and we worked in silence. About a year later, I went with a friend to the opening night of a play. It wasn't very good. We ended up leaving at intermission. Walking into the courtyard in front of the theater, we saw a figure in white crouched down in the semi-darkness next to a stone wall. And coming closer, I saw it was the certain Oscar-winning movie star. She was mumbling to herself and fixing her hair. I wondered what she was doing, but my friend and I kept walking. And as we stepped out around the wall and down to the street, there was a throng of paparazzi waiting for the opening night crowd to come out. I realized she must have known they were out there, and she was preparing to meet them. I told my friend to wait a moment. We turned around. We wanted to see what would happen. And a moment later, she emerged. And the flashlights exploded, and the cameraman shouted, and suddenly there she was, fully alive, right before us, a brilliant star, a beautiful, complicated creation, her own greatest work.